Okay, are we ready? Wow.
We're ready. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I don't know if you got a title for this, this venture tonight, but I called it Sweden. And I'll tell you why. There was a period of 8 years when my Rebbe, the Ali Shur, was a German citizen, and he couldn't go through Germany to get with the rest of the Mir to go to Shanghai, right? So instead he had to flee to Sweden. And he was in Sweden for 8 years. He told us many times that they were not easy years. Sweden was not an easy place to be, especially in those days. A lot of people went to Sweden and were messed up there, really messed up. I mean, this is his words. He says, "Gam Rabbanim Charedim Mamash Hiskalkalu." He said, even Rabbanim, right, who were Charedim, who were, Rabbanim, so they got messed up in Sweden. And he said that Tira Isurei Krisis. And then they transgressed, I guess, Isurei, that which are Chayav Krisis. I guess they got really messed up in Sweden, with the blondes over there or something. I don't know. But he was alone and he was unmarried, right? And the only thing which kept him going was learning Mussar. That's what he writes. The only thing which, he says, the reason I'm talking to you today, I mean, he said that in when I was in Ber Yaakov, he said the only reason that the Mishgiach, the Ali Shur, was talking was because of the Mussar which he learned. But at one point he said that wasn't easy either. In fact, at one point while he was there in Sweden, he had a difficult time. And he felt Yeush. He felt that it wasn't working. And he wrote to Reb Chaskel Levenstein, right, in Eretz Yisrael. He wrote to Reb Chaskel that, look, he understands, he knows himself, and Mevin Batzmo, and he feels that he's been miyayesh. The Mussar is not affecting me. It's not changing me. It's not affecting me. So Reb Chaskel immediately contacted him and told him, first of all, forget about you know yourself. Nobody knows himself. When it comes to, Mussar in difficult times, we fool ourselves. He said, I have no suffix that the Mussar you're doing is helping. It's effective, and don't dare give it up. So he did, and he said to us in Ber Yaakov, he said, the only reason that I'm sitting before you today is because I continue to learn Mussar. Otherwise, he would have been lost over there also. And he says, you see the To'elas, Rav Chaskel wrote to him, you're going to see that there was a lot of To'elas from learning Mussar, and he said that because he was mamshur to learn Mussar after he heard from Rav Chaskel, so that's why he was able to be the Ali Shur. That's why he was able to be the Ali Shur. But that was a very, very difficult tekufa for him. And somehow he, because of Mussar, he says, he held strong. But you should know that Musar isn't only for people sitting in a yeshiva. Sometimes we think, oh, you're sitting in the yeshiva, or you're learning in kollel, right? So of course, you learn Musar. But the Mashgiach said many times very clearly, it's not like that. And he quoted Rabbi Yerucham. He quoted Rabbi Yerucham that every person has to learn Musa. Whether you're Rosh Hashiva, Rabbanim, a Rebbe of a city, a Rebbe, right? Or Balabatim, even Balabatim, or not Koveya. Let's say, even if you're not Koveya Itam, if you learn Musa, you should start being the Koveya Itam the Torah. But even Balabatim, who are not in yeshiva, not zeichet to be in yeshiva, right? They also have to learn Musa. Everybody has to learn Musa. That was a quote from the Ali Shur, and he held very strongly that it's a very, very important in all of our endeavors and everything we do to learn Musa. The way we learn the Musa, and we learn from Musa, right, is, I think, I'm going to try the Yiddish, excuse my poor knowledge of Yiddish, but Zustellen zu sich, right? It's not just to learn the Musa. We have to know that it's talking to us. We have to apply it to ourselves.
Whatever you want, man.
We have to know that it has to apply to us. We have to take the Musa and apply it to us. Mike, could you? You're coming through over there. Yeah. Okay. We have to take the Musa that we hear and the Musa that we learn. We have to apply it to ourselves, right? You know, it's one thing. Thank you. It's one thing that it's one thing that you know, we hear Musa, right? But if we somehow it's an easy thing to do, to think, well, the Musa is talking about everybody else, right? I don't naturally apply it to myself. And that is the ikar of learning Musa, to say it's talking about me, to apply it to myself, to ask myself, how does it apply to me? How does it affect me? What do I have to learn from this Musa? What do I have to take out of this Musa? That's a very, very important thing. And, it's interesting, the Mashgiach at one point quoted the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov saying that this world is a mirror. The world is a mirror. Now, what does he mean by when he says the world is a mirror? You know, you look in the mirror, you see yourself. You look in the mirror, you see yourself. In other words, everything that happens to you and everything that you see and everything that you observe in the world, right? You have to think it's a message to you. You have to apply it. How does it apply to me? How does it affect me? What can I learn from it? What can I do from it? Right? That's the pshat. It's a mirror. That we, everything the Baal Shem Tov is saying, that everything in the world. Mike, could you please? Michael Key, turn off.
You're going to pay her for me. I'll give it back.
All right, I don't think he hears me. That's a product is a. That's a product like that. Everything is a. Yeah.
Huh?
Again, I quoted the Mashgiach a lot. Now I want to quote the Rosh Hashiva. I quote the Rosh Hashiva. Right.
Howie, you are the host. Can you mute Mike, please?
What's that?
Think about the hell bills. Mama doesn't want you to get dirty. Mama doesn't want you to get dirty.
Is everything okay? Can I continue?
You get to them.
All right. Rosh Yeshiva Zetzel once said like this in the beginning of this year, and sometimes he said a little bit of Mussar or spoke about certain things before we started learning. And one day he said, bring down Mussar, that it's very important to learn Yira, to learn it's very important to learn the era. And he said that the minhag of the Chassam Sofer was to begin his shir. When the Chassam Sofer said his shir, right, he started by learning a little bit of Chovas HaLevavos, a little bit of Chovas HaLevavos. And he said, L'chaira, that's what we have to do also. Why? He said because learning Mussar, it should be at the beginning of the day, not to wait till the last Seder, the end of the day. In Bir Yaakov, there were many times the Mussar was before Mincha, and Mincha was late. Sometimes he said that, no, you have to learn Mussar at the beginning of the day. Why? He said because the Nefesh HaChaim, the Nefesh HaChaim explains that Yiras Hashem Hi Eitzero. The fear of Hashem is the Eitzer, is the storehouse, right? For what? For Torah, right? That Yiras Hashem Hi Eitzero. That means he explained that there's a kli in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu enables us to put our Torah. And that's Yiras Shamayim. Yiras Shamayim is the Eitzer, it's a kli in which we can put our Torah. So in as much as we put our Torah, as much as we have Yira, that's as much of the Torah that we're Zeicher to, right? So therefore the Chor should be at the beginning of the day, because before we start learning, right? Because it's the Eitzer. And that happens for Torah, right? Talmidim, we know that this coming Thursday is Yudayim B'Tammuz. It's a Tainus. It's the beginning of our mourning for the Beis Hamikdash. And how can we bring ourselves to feel the lack in of the Beis Hamikdash? It's not an easy thing. It doesn't come by itself. It takes avodah. It takes work. And there's no better way, and that's probably why I chose Mussar to talk about this week. There's no better way to prepare, right? Rather than learning Mussar. Because learning Mussar teaches us to take the Torah that we learn and apply it to ourselves, and to ask ourselves, how can we change? How can we be better? What message is a Mussar giving us? What is it telling us, right? And if we keep on asking these questions, right, we apply it to ourselves, then we can also try to experience and feel what was the world with the Beis Hamikdash, right? With the Beis Hamikdash, it was a different world. You could walk into the Beis Hamikdash and you instantly would feel in yourself the difference. I say this all the time, between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. In the Makom HaMikdash, nothing was hidden. You would instantly feel the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. You would understand yourself as you never did before, right? And that one Makom, that one place of Kedusha and Tahira, right? If it would change your whole perspective, your whole outlook on the world. That was the Makom HaMikdash. And if we learn Mussar and we work on ourselves to be able to appreciate how everything in the world is a mirror, it faces, and is speaking to us and relating to ourselves, then we can reach the level where we can start to feel the loss of the Beis Hamikdash and mourn for her in the proper way. So Hashem should help us all open our hearts, learn Mussar. I said, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking to those who are sitting in the Beis Medrash. You're for sure learning. I'm not talking to those who are Rabbanim. You're for sure learning your Mussar, right? I'm talking to people who Balabatim who may not have shaykhs to a Beis Medrash, right? You should, but you have to learn Mussar. You have to learn Mussar, and Mussar can prepare us for the Tainis Bolena Latova on Thursday, and for the time that we have to put our hearts into mourning for the Malchut Mikdash. Because if we mourn for it properly, then Be'ez Hashem, even before then, we will be dancing in Yerushalayim together with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Okay, thank you, fellas. That's it for tonight. Like I said, I'll ask you. We have more fellows now. I'll ask you once again. Please have in mind, Chaya Tzipora Bas Rezel. My wife went through a very difficult illness. She was in the hospital that's why I didn't say shir. That's why I didn't have the shir. She was in the hospital for 10 days, and I spent most of the time there. And she has Hermes Zuter. That's Hermes. It's shingles, they call it. They call it shingles, and it's very painful. And so if you keep her in mind, she should have a refuah shlema min hashamayim, Chaya Tzipora Bas Rezel. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, fellas.
Amen. Thanks much.
Thanks so much, Mash.
Amen.
Mash,
Thank you, Rabbi. Shalema.
just want to mention, this is seen in Pirkei Avos. It says anybody whose chachma is greater than his yira, so the chachma is not miskayemes. Doesn't last. But a person whose yira is greater than his chachma, so you see that the yiras Hashem is the storehouse for his chachma.
Right. And that's the word. It's a storehouse. It's an eitzer for
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Very good.
All right.
Okay.